All right, guys, today we are going to be recapping the Bitmine 2026 annual meeting, which this was a wide-ranging update by Tom Lee, who is the chairman of the board. So I watched the whole thing. I took some notes. I'm going to be trying to cover the highlights and give you guys the information on what could be coming with Ethereum, Tom Lee, MrBeast, and all that stuff. So, guys, this wasn't just a shareholder call, right? It was a strategic statement about where Ethereum, institutional crypto, DATs, capital markets, where all that is heading next. And most importantly, how Bitmine plans to be at the center of it all. So if we go back to the video, it was a YouTube live stream. Tom Lee opened with kind of a blunt assessment of what he thought 2025 was all about. So despite Bitcoin and Ethereum delivering strong long-term returns, last year was defined by what he called a crypto mass liquidation event, which was a forced deleveraging across exchanges, funds, and speculative capital. Guys, he's referring to what happened in October, right? He's referring to forced liquidations from people being too over leveraged and crashing the prices. So out of that shakeout, he says a new category has emerged, which is digital asset treasuries, or DATs. So companies like MicroStrategy and now Bitmine on the Ethereum side, they're no longer just trading crypto exposure. They are structurally accumulating it. So what is Bitmine's Ethereum accumulation strategy? So the headline number from the meeting, again, we've talked about this, is Bitmine is still trying to hit that 5%. They want to buy up 5% of all the Ethereum. And in just 7 months, they've accumulated 4.2 million Ethereum tokens, which is basically 68% of their goal. So Bitmine's management expects to hit the full 5% in 2026. That means they're going to keep buying Ethereum hand over fist. They're not stopping because they're not just playing price appreciation. Once we get down into the rest of what they talked about, they have 4 pillars that they're planning to use the Ethereum for in this company. Okay, and it is very, very ambitious because they're, like I said, they're not just passively holding Ethereum. It is a deliberate strategy to become one of the most influential Ethereum native balance sheets in the world. Tom Lee thinks it's the future of finance. Okay, he thinks this is where banking and finance is going onto Ethereum, and he wants to make sure he's got a giant slice of the pie, right? And is accumulating as much as he can right now, building for the future. So Bitmine and Tom Lee outlined 4 pillars of the Bitmine growth strategy, which we need to pay attention to because they are one of the biggest players in crypto. So if we can read in to the pillars that they're discussing, we can maybe use this for our own investing strategies and pick on the themes and be intelligent with which tokens we pick for our own portfolios. So again, Tom Lee outlined 4 pillars. 4 pillars designed to drive shareholder value simply beyond holding Ethereum and hoping for price appreciation. So number 1, maximizing Ethereum yield. So Bitmine's optimizing staking yield and deploying selective alpha strategies. So what does that tell us? That means maybe part of our crypto exposure should be investing in tokens that pay yield. Okay, staking rewards, Solana, Ethereum, to name 2 of the bigger ones. So at current prices, right, for Bitmine though, this translates into 400 to 430 million in annual pre-tax income. That's over $1 million a day. So they are going to be making $1 million a day simply on rewards from staking. So if Ethereum were to reach 12,000, that number would scale to $2 billion annually, purely from the yield strategy. Okay, number 2, this is the second pillar, Moonshot strategic investments. So Bitmine is also investing in projects that expand Ethereum's reach. And the most talked about deal, like we did a video on this, right? Go back and look a couple weeks ago, or maybe just last week, the $200 million investment in Beast Industries, founded by MrBeast, the most watched content creator on earth, right? We saw Bitmine invested 200 million into Beast Industries. Look for MrBeast Financial. That is probably what they're going for. And the goal of this, right, according to the live stream, it's not branding hype. It's distribution, cultural relevance, and strategic collaboration that brings Ethereum exposure to global audiences. Okay? Attention is the new currency. That's what we talked about in our other video. And Tom Lee is basically saying, hey, yep, we are going to work with MrBeast. Free advertising. Free 500 million subscribers of influence. We launch an app. We launch a bank. Use MrBeast distribution network. Boom. You'll put some coupons in the chocolate bars. Put some branding in the toys. Right? His reach is phenomenal. And the partnership with Bitmine is going to just totally blow up in a good way. Expand in a good way the reach and everything they're planning to do with Ethereum and finance. So additional investments outside of MrBeast included WorldCoin, co-founded by Sam Altman, which is focused on proof of human infrastructure. Tokenization products were also highlighted as a core theme. Fractional, programmable ownership as the future of finance, right? So real world asset tokenization, right? They're investing in that as well. So they also want to productize Bitmine and bridge TradFi and DeFi. So beyond the investments, according to the live stream again, Bitmine plans to productize its brand. So this included a dedicated Bitmine app, community-driven engagement, and most importantly, infrastructure. Because Bitmine's already a top 50 most traded stock. And with the upcoming launch of MAVAN, the company is going to aim to become the largest staking entity in the world. They're going to act as a settlement layer between traditional finance and decentralized finance. That's the goal. That's the pillar. So how does all this, relate to the price outlook and stock implications? So Tom Lee made his long-term thesis explicit. If Ethereum regains its 2021 Ethereum Bitcoin ratio highs, he believes Ethereum could reach $22,000. Under that scenario, he projected a potential Bitmine stock price of $500, driven by Ethereum exposure, yield generation, and infrastructure positioning. So guys, this wasn't framed as a prediction, but as a structural outcome if Ethereum reassumes its historical dominance. So he's using math and projections to say, hey, I think Ethereum's going to go here. And if it does, this is what our stock price is going to be. It's math. So let's move on to the Q&A session. I won't keep you guys too much longer, but the Q&A highlights from the Bitmine shareholder event. So in the Q&A, Bitmine addressed custody and governance concerns. So private keys are held with regulated third-party custodians, similar to MicroStrategy's approach, okay, which obviously is working. An Ethereum Foundation representative noted that Vitalik Buterin views Bitmine as a bridge between Wall Street and crypto. Tom Lee was also described as the chief of investor relations for Ethereum, reinforcing Bitmine's role as an institutional advocate. So guys, in closing here, the takeaway from Bitmine's annual meeting is simple. This company is no longer just accumulating Ethereum. It is positioning itself as Ethereum's institutional operating layer. Whether that strategy succeeds will depend on execution, regulation, and market structure. But the ambition is unmistakable. And just to see something of this magnitude, of this scale, of this level of investment on Ethereum in the crypto space is just amazing, right? It just gives me hope, and it lets you know that this is real money, real infrastructure, and the future is definitely crypto and on chain. The way there might be a bumpy path, like we know that geopolitical events, forced liquidations, leverage, speculation, but in the end, 2030, 2035 and beyond, this is the future. So with that, guys, stay safe, trade smart. Till the next one.